If you want, you can unplug it and just hand that to me. Cool. Thanks.
Alright, sorry, just doing some behind the scenes stuff. Hey Steph, can you do one other thing for me? Can you just top me off?
Yeah.
And don't change the cup.
I need your cup.
Thank you. No, it's not gonna fall off. I don't care if that one does, but that one's fine. This is my primary. Hello. Would you mind explaining to him why things are the way they look? Because I haven't had a chance.
Yeah.
Please. If my phone hasn't vibrated, I haven't received the link. No, that he's been checking all that. We're good. If anything looked weird, you would have said something. Thank you. Yes, sir. Give me 1 second. Stephanie, the link should be up. Is it something that you sent me on Messenger? Is it the restream link? Yes, that's it.
Share.
Is it cool if we just share that post? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and as long that has to be muted, we can't have the echo chamber. I have the second stream device live, so right now I can see both screens. And I see the countdown, 337, 336, yeah. This is cool. So how long have you been doing these? Okay. I want. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's just about 15 seconds. That's crazy. And then I got a quick question for you. We were kind of doing all the orientation with the guitar seated next to me. Does that look better, or do you think I should do it with it on my lap like this? Okay. Sweet. Yeah, that's a good guy. I can see that. Thank you. Okay. Hey. Thank you. Let's do it. You know what, I'm gonna put this. I'll bring it out if I need to.
Was there no volume there? You know what? I want to apologize to everybody. I just, I just got a blast full of people saying, "Hey, there's no sound, man." Okay, my bad, everybody. Just to play back real quick, if you are just coming on, I am sitting next to, not literally but digitally, Senor Nelson Cade the Third. Nelson, what is up, my man?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Good to have you on here today. Nelson, what is your, if people want to follow you on IG, where would they follow you?
So my handle is just my name, nothing fancy. Nelson Cade. That's Cade with the 3 on it. So Nelson Cade 3.
Nelson Cade 3, my peoples. Go ahead and find him there, and he's got a bunch of his stuff posted out up there. Just before we get rocking, Nelson, I wanted to repeat what I said because apparently I was on le mute. Next week, we're going to have on Senior Chaplain Dillis Brooks from Loma Linda University and the Spiritual Care Director, Dr. Terry Swenson. They're going to talk about the kind of work they're doing there on a multicultural, multi-faith campus, what young professionals are having to deal with, some of the things that you might want to be thinking about if you want to go through becoming a doctor or dental hygienist, a nurse, all of that kind of stuff. They're going to talk about what it is like to work as a biracial team leads. They do phenomenal things together, so I'm really looking forward to that. But before we get there, we've got Nelson Cade on, ladies and gentlemen. Nelson Cade. Nelson, my bro, what are you drinking today?
So today I've got a nice peach mango iced tea that I'm drinking from my little butterbeer mug.
Bam!
It's my favorite.
Peach iced tea. Our girl Leah just reached out and said 2 of my favorite people. Leah, you are a favorite person of ours too. You know Leah? Nelson? Yes.
Do I know Leah? She's my cousin. She used to babysit me.
Oh man. Oh mercy. Hey, praise the Lord, you're still alive. Praise God. Listen, Leah, good job. Good job on you, Leah, for not killing Nelson, man.
Ooh, it's kind of the other way around. I was a nightmare to babysit. Oh man, she has some stories, I'm telling you.
Is that right? That's awesome, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, if you can hear us just fine out there in the world, go ahead and give us a thumbs up so we know that our sound is on point as we continue on in this convo together, all right? So if our sound sounds good to you, thumbs up. If it's not, say turn it up, and we'll know what to do at that point. Nelson, I've just got a few questions for you as we rock out together. So what is your racial ethnicity? I know that if anybody was watching along The Voice, we look at you and we're like, he looks like a mix of some sort here. So just to clear out the air for everybody, what's your racial ethnicity? What's your background? Thank you, Kevin.
I mean, in one word. Okay, so in one word, I'm pretty much Creole. Like, a lot of my family is from Louisiana, Slidell, gotta represent.
Slidell.
Yeah, you were looking at me, you could say I'm black, and that's not wrong. So, yeah.
Nice. Do you have a preference? I had a panel of some amazing African Americans on last week. We talked about being black in America. We're going to do that again in August. But someone from your particular background and, of course, your life story, do you, in your view, see one more appropriate than the other as a title? Black, African American, and why? I know we're jumping into this stuff a little early, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, look. I'm an open book. Let's go into it. So, on a personal level, because I'm not going to try to bring like any real title into this, but on a personal level, I don't have a preference. Like,
cool.
If somebody is using it in a derogatory way, I have to give them the power to offend me, and I won't. So, past that, it's just. In some settings, sure, African American is a little more proper, and in other settings, black is not in any way derogatory. So, I'm sorry, derogatory. So, yeah, it's
tomato, baby. Yeah. All good. Okay, good. Thanks, man. Thanks for that. So, where were you born? Where were you raised?
I was born in Woodland Hills, California. I was raised not too far away in Anaheim, California, and I stayed in Anaheim for pretty much my entire life. I didn't really go anywhere. And then all of a sudden I moved out and I lived in a bunch of other places in SoCal, and then eventually I moved to Baltimore. So got a lot of East Coast love because my year in Baltimore was amazing. I love that city, and I love that side of the country.
A lot
It
of
was a
history
lot of
out
fun.
there.
Yes, absolutely.
But you found your way home.
I was actually, yes, I did. I came back living in California again, and it was it's been interesting. A lot of stuff has happened in the short time I've been back.
Are you the one who's brought all this on us, Southern Californians? When you came back, you brought the COVID with you. You brought all of it with you.
Ah, dang. Yeah, yeah, I'm the harbinger.
You're
There you
the
go.
harbinger.
Patient zero right here.
So, any siblings? What's your life like? Your family life? You have a fiance. I want to get to that next, but tell us a little bit about your
Okay.
family dynamics.
All right, so my nuclear family is my mom and my dad, and then they
Nice.
had me. I'm the first, and then I have a little sister. She's the second, and a little brother. So my little sister is Cece. She just had her birthday, and I'm so
What's
proud
up,
of her. I got
Cece?
to hang
Happy
out.
birthday!
And my little brother is Dylan, and we can get into his story a little bit later because I don't
Awesome.
want to get too crazy.
Yeah.
But but yeah, that's my family, and I love them all very much.
Oh, fantastic! And yeah, indeed, you do have a fiance out there in the world. I hear she's amazing.
My fiance is basically the reason why I am where I am. She's been everywhere. She's the epitome of the supportive person. You know, like
Yeah.
all the great men have the great women right beside them, not behind them, but beside them. Yeah, that's definitely her.
Oh,
She's-
that's too
Yeah.
good, man. That's too good. Bro, so when did you know that you wanted to do music as a real thing, like for the rest of your life? Everybody kind of comes, everyone has a moment in life where they're like, man, this is what I believe I want to do, right? So when was that for you?
Whew, man, it's short answer is I would say around middle school, like seventh grade. But see, my life has been kind of a struggle of really coming to terms with something that in my heart I always knew was there. Like, my dad is a rocket scientist, so
Oh,
I was
wow.
raised with this whole you're going to be, yeah. So I was raised with this whole you're going to be really good at math and science initiative. And then my mom's a school teacher, so she's like, well, you're also going to be good at history and English and everything else. So as you can imagine, it was kind of rough. I wasn't really allowed to slack on anything. And oh man, I remember starting piano lessons in like first grade, and I did not care for it at all. I was the one who asked for them, and I couldn't stand it. I didn't like practicing, didn't like the instrument. I didn't want to have anything to do with it after I started. And about the 3-year mark comes around, and all of a sudden I can't stop. I'm always on a piano. If there's a piano in the room, I find it and I start playing it immediately, and you can't get me off of it. I would trade piano time, like I would trade meals for piano time if I could.
Wow.
I had such a strong affinity. And I think it really came down to one big, huge decision. When I was in sixth grade, my mom surprised me with this audition to this place that I'd never heard of. I knew that I'd been taking all these entrance exams to see what school I was going to go to because, elementary school is about to be over.
Yeah.
So I got into several really cool academically strong schools. One of them was Oxford Academy. And my mom took me to this place and she's like, go play piano for these people, and handed me some of my books. I hadn't prepared specifically for any kind of audition. This was just another day for me. So I go upstairs, I'm following the instructions, and then there's a panel of people and they're like, all right, what are you going to play? And I look at them with blank faces because I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do you want me to play? And they're like, well, can you play something from the Baroque era? And I'm like, sure. And I play my little Baroque era piece. And they're like, do you have anything romantic? And I was like, I've got Chopin. So I'm just... And then they're like, well, why do you want to go to this school? And I think it was probably the first time they ever heard somebody say, they're like, I don't even know where I am.
I don't even know where I am.
Right. And that was my audition for OSHA, the School of Performing Arts in Santa Ana. And
Yeah.
after I found out what that school was, and I found out that I got accepted, I had to make a ridiculously difficult choice for a preteen, which was, do you want to go with this academic school that's going to totally prepare you for college and take you the route that you've been kind of steered towards?
Uh-huh.
Or do you follow this path that you didn't know existed that looks really appealing? Like, I'd been doing piano this whole time. I've always had the private lessons, and now it's going to be supported by, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain what OSHA was like. I mean, if you've ever seen like Fame and there's
Yeah.
people like
Oh, I
dancing
love
and singing
Fame.
in the hallways, I mean, yeah, it's not an exaggeration. That's what OSHA was like. Like, if somebody was singing a song to themselves, within 3 minutes, it'll be like a full-on choreographic number with the music kids playing and other people
Yes.
dancing. I mean, it was just wild. Like, it was so many people that just had such an unfiltered love for their craft. And we were just all together, and it was amazing. It was like the haven of the outcasts. That's what it was like.
Dude, I would have loved that, man. Oh, man, are you kidding me? Breaking out of musicals wherever you go. Me and my guy, Chris Watkins, he's a real close friend of mine, man. We go places and, like, we'll watch a movie, and if it's got, like, some familiar, we just start singing, man. It's kind of weird because, you know, he's 6'4", he's black, and I'm, like, 6'3", Tongan, 200 and some, a lot of pounds, you know, and it's funny to just watch us kind of prancing around and singing, you know, just, ooh, that's so good, man. So how did your dad take this? Jillian had mentioned, I posted up one of Jillian's comments just earlier, the kind of pressure that must have been for you because you come from a science and an educator's home. So how did your dad take it? Did he take it hard? Did you have to break it to him and like, Dad, I want to be a singer, you know? And he was like, what? Or was it like, no, it's cool.
It was, I mean, in short, it was rough. It wasn't as clean cut. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as the academics didn't slip, he would go with it. But I mean, it was a really symbolic decision. I mean, this was kind of the first real moment that I was showing not only to myself, but to anybody else that, you know, this whole piano thing isn't really a hobby anymore. I'm kind of serious about this. I mean, I was kind of learning that about myself too. And, you know, looking back on it, I really think that it all comes back down to that decision because of all the different things that have happened in my life and all the different career paths that I was going to venture into. Like, music was the one thing where I never stopped. You know, life hits you and life happens and all these things. I mean, there was a time where I was going to be a physicist. There was a time where I wanted to be a chemist. There was a time where I wanted to be a computer scientist. I wanted to be a programmer. And I mean, I'm talking to the point where I was like taking collegiate classes and I was like deep into it. And then something happened and I had to switch. And so it's just like, I am versed in a lot of, I have so much random knowledge in my head, but at the end of the day, music is the one thing that it really is my center. Like, no matter how badly an obstacle hits me, I will still have my instrument. And even if I don't, that's how singing started. Like, I was not a singer. You know, like that.
You weren't a singer
Just,
initially. Oh, wow.
No.
So, bro, you are silky smooth, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I got a couple pictures up. So if you're watching along.
That was my, like,
Say again? I got a couple pictures. So as you're watching along, take a look at the feed and see if you recognize some of these pictures. Because I'm wondering if in these times of your life, if you were serious about the music, if it was in you.
Oh my goodness. I know exactly what class that is.
Is that right?
Lost Coyotes. That's 5th and 6th grade. Okay.
Was the music alive back then, bro?
Okay, shout out. Oh my goodness, you're oh dude. Okay, I gotta give a shout out to one of my favorite teachers.
Do it.
I was the nerd that like loved all of my teachers, and I could probably name most, if not all of them, because I listened even at that age. They did a lot for me. Miss Verga was one of the best teachers I have ever had the privilege of learning from. She was one of those teachers that's like, I mean, she's one of those teachers that you could write a movie on. You know, she came into class and she was not content with just a curriculum. Like, by the time we left, these kids were going to have learned something, and not for a test, but for practical use. Something that like we were going to leave with tools to use in our lives. And
Miss Verga.
I mean, Miss Verga is amazing. And if it wasn't for her, I honestly don't think I would have the vocab that I have today. Like, she really helped me a lot with just my command of the English language.
Somebody tag Miss Verga to this live feed right now and let her know she's made a difference in somebody's life. Nelson Cade. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
Nelson, there's another shot here of you. If you take a quick look, you're wearing a red, like a polo shirt, man. That's fresh, bro. What year is that? And do you know any of those people around you? I mean, are they still around in your life?
Oh man, I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's Orangewood. Well then, yeah,
Ooh,
that's
Orangewood
that's Orange.
Academy. Oh, snap.
Yeah, good old OA.
Yeah,
I'm
yo.
pretty sure like all SoCal SDA people have to go through that at least once.
Yeah. My brother and my sister in different decades went through that school.
We all find ourselves there at one point.
Right,
Yes,
right.
a lot of my life happened at that school. That's actually, if you go back even further, that's where I met my now fiance. There's a picture that
All
I
right.
didn't know this picture existed until we were already together, but there's a picture of us in like, I want to say preschool, maybe kindergarten, and we're like right next to each other at like a petting zoo. And I'm just like, wow, I must have loved you for a long time. Wow.
It was in the cards for you, man. It was in the cards for you. So for those of you who
No, you got the Pathfinder. Oh, God.
what's that? This is the Pathfinder piece right here. For those of you who may not come from the denomination Seventh-day Adventists and are unaware of how our faith works, we have a kids ministry. I like to think of them as the army of the Adventists. They are where you learn how to do things. It's like a Boy Scout, and you get badges and stuff. And Nelson here, my man Nelson, is carrying the torch. This was in a Riverside parade. Nelson, it looks like you had quite a few badges. Can you tell us what is your favorite one that you did growing up?
Ooh, man, I could tell you all kinds of stuff about Pathfinders. Yeah, I was deep in the Pathfinders. So my favorite honor. Let me see. What was my favorite one? I loved knot tying. I was really good at that.
Ooh.
I got my archery honor, and there was one about, I know this is gonna sound really random, but I like horticulture, and I got one for cacti, and I loved that because it was just the idea that that cacti have like water and juices, and there's so many different types, like that blew my mind, and it was interesting.
You're an in the closet nerd, bro.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Sarah Grover says, "We are the Pathfinder strong, baby. We are the Pathfinder strong." Oh, that's
Absolutely.
good. That's good. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. I'm gonna save you some of that embarrassment there, bro. Let's.
Oh, I'm a Pathfinder and proud, man.
Proud.
I made it all the way to guide. I was almost at Master Guide, but I'm not ashamed
Oh,
of any of
Master
that.
Guide. Okay, you are for real, man. I got kicked out of Pathfinders. I know. How does that even happen? I don't even know, man. And then they invite me to come speak at them, and I'm like, "Do you sure you want me?" I'm like the reject.
It's the best.
I need to be around you more. I needed friends like you, Nels, who was like, "Yo, man, let's just stay true and strong, man. Let's do this. Let's get these knots in. Let's go."
Right?
Man.
I mean, I would have been there for you, man. I got you.
Leave no Pathfinder behind, man. Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Okay, let's talk about The Voice. Let's talk about what was the story behind The Voice? How did you end up on it? And what was it like to meet the judges? I made an announcement in the beginning that said that all the chairs turned around for you. Don't make me a liar, bro. Is this true? Oh, I lied.
All right, so let me be humble about this. Yes, I was a four-chair turn, and it was really fun.
That's awesome.
I even got a block, which was really, really exciting because when you're in the moment, trust me, there's so many things that you don't recognize as you're actually on stage. So I didn't realize that I got the block until like everything was over, and I was like, oh snap, that's insane. Yeah, so that whole thing, I'm gonna say this right up front. That show was awesome. It was such a privilege to be a part of it, and it was so wholesome. I mean, behind the scenes, that show has so much integrity. And it's heartwarming knowing that it actually worked the way that we all hoped it would. Because I think it comes across as a show that's like very real, you know, and yeah, like I can just say, you know, from a behind the scenes perspective, yes, it is. They put a lot of effort into making sure that all the contestants are prepared. I mean, we're really not wanting for anything. If we need help with singing or something like that, they make sure that we're paired up with people who can help us. If we need help with interviews and whatnot, I mean, it's just every little thing that we had to do, they made sure that we were able and ready to do them. And I really liked that. They always put us in a position to succeed, and that was huge.
Wow. Wow. So, how did you have to like interview for this, or did you have to turn in an application, or how did you end up there in front of these judges? Because nobody ever sees that part,
So
right? We all get to
no,
watch when you go on stage, but stuff happens before that.
there's quite a few hurdles that happen before you ever get to the actual show. And the funniest thing is, I swear this is just like a recurring thing in my life. Um, I had no idea that this was going to happen. See, Stephanie's my fiance, by the way.
All right,
Stephanie and I,
Stephanie.
her thing is she likes going to LA and she'll just take pictures of things because she's a photographer and she's really good.
Right.
And I like being around her because, it's LA and I just like being, with her. So she'll go and she'll just wander around aimlessly and take pictures of things. And I am content with my guitar wandering around aimlessly, just playing music. And we do that like at least once a weekend. So it was our usual thing. I didn't have questions. We would go out to LA. We wouldn't really do anything. We're just wandering around playing music and taking pictures. So we do that again. And I think it's a, picture day like any other, except this time she drops me off at like the convention center. I'm like, dude, we're never over here. What are we doing? She hands me some paperwork and she's like, all right, get out, go sing for these people. And I was like, wait, what? And I looked down and it's the application thing. And I was like, I didn't even know she signed me up. So there I am. I'm in line and I'm waiting for like something crazy. I want to say like 4, maybe 5 hours. And then you get to the first hurdle and you have to sing. And I mean, it's wild because it's like, I didn't wake up thinking that I'm going to do this. I wasn't preparing for this for weeks on end. It's just a random thing. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just sing this. And it happened to be Pride and Joy. And I happened to impress the proctor and it just kept going from there. And it was wild. It was such a wild ride.
There seems to be a theme of the women in your life dropping you off at things with you not knowing about it, and God using them to push you on to do some other things. Man, much love to Stephanie, girl. Good job. Way to get them out there. So, what was it? What was it like to be coached by John Legend? John, call me.
Ooh.
John, call me.
Right?
Yeah. Hashtag Team Legend.
It's hashtag Team Legend for sure. I'm gonna say this: he's just as cool as you think he is, which is nice.
I knew it. He needs a
right?
best friend like me.
Just suave. He's smooth. He's cool. And one of the things that I'm happy because I feel like I knew the kind of teaching style he was going to use. That's really, at the end of the day, that was my decision maker when I got the decision, the chance to choose a coach.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that he was going to be like the really hands-on perspective, and he was. They all have just worlds of experience in this industry, but with him, he has the musician perspective. He has the singer perspective. He has the songwriter perspective. He has the producer perspective. He has the performer perspective. He can look through this at every lens that you can look at it through. And I'm used to being kind of the one-man band. If you go to any of my shows, I don't usually have anybody else with me. I'm kind of just on stage by myself. And so that kind of help was going to be paramount, because if he sees that my whole product has been just me, I think that he's going to relate to that, because if there's a just John Legend concert, no one's going to be disappointed. He knows how to do that.
Yeah. It'll still be sold out.
Exactly. And everybody's going to have a great time, including him. So he was really, really effective at recognizing what I have going for me, seeing where I'm headed, and knowing how to just point me in the right direction. I mean, he's a really smart man. he's good at teaching. It was really nice to work with him.
If you're watching along, I am with Nelson Cade III. We are talking about his journey this past season on The Voice, being part of Team Legend. And we're also talking about life and love and faith and all of it. So thank you for joining us. Feel free to leave some comments or questions, as you all have been doing. Thank you so much. Keep leaving those questions. And when we have time, I'll pop them up on the screen. I'll ask Nelson to go through them and kind of answer them as we go. You cool with that, Nelson?
I'm totally fine with that.
All right, all right. So we're gonna keep cruising along. As you have questions, feel free to pop them up into our comments, and we'll go through them. So, what was it like to work with James Taylor as a coach? Some people don't understand how amazing James Taylor is. I love him, man. He's killer good. But what was it like to actually meet him and be a part of that whole process?
So it's kind of crazy because a lot of people don't believe this when I tell them this, but the contestants really are the last to know a lot of things about the show, including who we're about to walk into the room with.
Right.
So those reactions of us walking to the room and us being surprised, yeah, that's real. We had no idea that we knew that there was gonna be somebody,
Yeah.
but yeah, James Taylor was probably not our first. Like that was the privilege right there. That was
Yeah.
insane. And I have to say, my first impression of him was this man is observant. He knows how to listen on a level that, I mean, a lot of people don't have that. It's such
Yeah.
a fast-paced life today, and it's like it's hard to have that attention span. And this guy knows how to listen to one song and hear the deepest parts of it. He knows how to listen to the contrast. He knows how to listen to if you're doing one tiny minute thing just a little too much or not enough. I mean, he's so fast about it. Him with John Legend, I mean, seriously, they were amazing. They can give you direction, and they're both on the same page so fast, which I love. Like,
Wow.
when they were helping me, like it was just amazing. Like 2 minutes with them is I couldn't put a value on that. They're masters of the craft.
James Taylor isn't just a musician, man. He's a writer, and he's written
absolutely.
more stuff than most people even know. So to be around such powerhouses, I bet must have been a little bit intimidating, right? Like to walk in to stand in front of these guys, and they're like, "Hey, just sing for us." Well, but do I have to? Oh man, that's something special.
It's crazy because like every time I get to meet somebody of that stature, yeah, the intimidation is definitely there. And then I've noticed this more and more. Every time I'm like in the same room with them, you get reminded that they're still just people.
Yeah, true.
And I mean, it's like that always brings me back down into the moment. Like they breathe just like you.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
if you're there and they're there, like what are we doing? And
Yeah.
It's
got to be a fantastic boost for them to like your stuff.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling.
It's there's a lot of affirmation there. Miriam Jackson said, "Hey, what was your nickname from a child?" I have a sense she knows, and so she'd like for you to put that out there for all of us to smile at. What was tell us, Nelson, what was your nickname?
So yeah, my family's gonna dog me on this one. So I'm Taz, and
Taz,
as in Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
And if anyone can attribute to this, ask Leah, because like I said, she babysat me and I was a nightmare. Like if you weren't looking directly at me, then I would probably in the last 30 seconds have climbed to the top of something that's way too dangerous for a toddler to climb up to. I used to go up my stairs backwards on the banister just because I thought it was fun. And
Taz.
I was kind of a wild child. Oh yeah.
Word of Mouth Cleaning asked when your next CD will be coming out, and we talked a little bit about that. Do you want to share where that is in the process? If things are still working, you're feeling it through?
I have always struggled with recording because I've never had the equipment that I need. So the coolest thing is, thanks to the show and lots of other really interesting things happening in my life, I have well, not in my room, but I have access to a lot of the equipment that I need. So
Nice.
yes, things are being recorded. Yes, some things are recorded, not finished, but we're working on it.
Nice.
I couldn't even tell you a name of an album. I know that one of the songs is going to be Point B, and I've played that at a lot of my gigs because that song is finished. It's done being written, and I love it. It's like one of my favorites. But when I have more information, I will bring that up. COVID has made things not as straightforward as I'd like them to be. But there's ways to get around everything. Like I got to spend like 5 days in a really professional recording studio last week. So
There it is.
I'm
So make
doing
sure
it.
you're following him at Nelson Cade 3 so that you know when it's coming out, and it'll be coming out when it comes out, right? And let me tell you something, bro. Let me give you a great album title. And I share this with all of my couples when they're having babies and I'm about to do a baby dedication. Icky is such a strong yet feminine name that it's just well rounded. I just want you to consider that, bro. Just put it in the
I like
files.
that. I like that. That can work.
Yeah. I know. It's a wonder that nobody in history has used it yet. But it's just. So tell me, do you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite contestant other than yourself that when they came out on The Voice and they were gonna sing, you were like, oh man, these people just working it. Did you have somebody on there that you idolized or that you thought, man, they were really good?
So, I mean, it's kind of hard to put it down to just one. I think that I'm never surprised that this show has such an awesome crop of talent, but I gotta say, this last season was an honor to be considered to be in the same league as a lot of these contestants, because, I mean, the talent was just off the charts, and I feel like most of us are pretty much family at this point. It's the kind of stuff behind the scenes that we have to go through. It's hard to describe to other people. And so, like, when we can all look back and relate to that and grow from that, it's just, it's weird. And one of my favorite contestants now is my boy Cam West.
Woo!
Like, we were roommates, so, like, I got to know him super good. And
Yes.
he's such a cool human. And I loved hearing him sing. His rendition of Say Something, dude, out of this world. That was, I think that was one of his best moments on the show.
Man.
I mean, let's be honest, he only got better and better as time progressed, but that's always going to stick with me. I loved that.
Shout out to Cam West. That was clean, bro. Not to veer away too far from what we're doing here, I'd love to hear something from you, and I'm sure people listening would love to hear something. Do you happen to have a guitar or something around that you could just pull out of the air and just give us a taste of something?
Do I happen to have a guitar? Do you know me? Do you know how I do cold auditions and whatnot? Do I have a guitar? Yeah, I got you.
Man, give us a little
Here,
taste, man.
I got something for you.
Cool.
I'll go ahead and play a little bit of that original I was telling you about.
Yes. If you are just coming on, we are
So-
hanging out with Nelson Cade III, and he's about to play us an original piece.
So this is called Point B. See, I look back at my life, you know what I see staring back at me. A little boy with his hopes, and his head full of dreams of what they did to me. See, I remember back then, I want to be all that, maybe a little bit more. So my spirit rose up, but my heart fell in as I walked through the door. See, back then I know I wanted to be, but how to get there, that's life's mystery. It's like being out lost on the sea. So somebody tell me how to get from point A to point B. To point B. Yeah. It's a little excerpt.
Oh man, listen, if you need backup on that song, man, I do listening. Philly Moose says, "What's up? What it do, baby? What it do?" And Matt says, "Yeah, he's digging that. So make sure you copyright that before these suckers go out and try to write it on their own, man."
Good to know.
Yeah. Okay, hey, so let's play a game. You ready to play a game with me?
I'm always ready to play.
Are you ready to play a game? This game is called Leave One, Love One, or Love One, Leave One. All right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna present you two things. You better be ready. You only get a minute and a half. We're gonna do two things. I'm gonna give you. You get a minute and a half to choose one or the other. Whichever you choose gets to survive, live on, and you get to enjoy regularly. Whatever you don't choose disappears from existence forever. My friends, if you're watching along and we are here with Nelson Cade III, we're going to play Love One, Leave One. Play along with us. As you get the options, I want you to type it in the comments as soon and as quick as possible because we're going to be moving through these things. If you are ready, my bro, I'm ready. You ready?
Let's do this.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Here we go. All right. Piano or guitar?
Oh, piano.